So, this one's gonna be about fun, essentially, I guess at least. So at least the article is somehow touching fun and somehow touching activities that might not be that fun. But yeah, more after the intro, as always. As every day. And I'm saying the exact same shit every day. But yeah, with that being said, hello, welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics fucking podcast. And I'm pumped for the podcast. I really am. And I also like the lighting today. Like, it is amazing. Like, the little, backdrop or some sort of thing is pretty cool. Like, the back is some sort of dark. I'm some sort of light. It's amazing. It is cool. It looks good. But yeah, if you want to actually listen to this episode, since you might be on the YouTube video or you might just be on the podcast as well, and you kind of feel like, well, actually viewing the YouTube video might be pretty cool, then please check out the links in the description, also the links in the show notes, because there should be the link to the podcast if you're on the YouTube video and you feel like, okay, listening to this might be pretty okay, might be pretty efficient, might be pretty effective as well, then please go down into the description and check out the podcast link. But if you're on the podcast and you feel like, well, I would like to see this dude, I would like to just be with him, then please check out the link in the description in the show notes, and there should also be the link to the YouTube channel. So check it out if you want to and switch the platforms. And yeah, as I've said before, we are going through an article, and the article is from the lifehacker.com site. Not quite sure, but I guess. And it is called Ask Yourself, I actually also had problems with reading it before I actually started the episode. So ask yourself, what would this task look like if it were fun? And it essentially, or apparently, is a question from Tim Ferriss. And this is quite the only reason why I'm going through this. The power of brand, ladies and gentlemen. It's amazing. It's been published by Nicole Decker on Friday, 1:30 p.m. So I guess it's from this Friday, I assume. But yeah, I think it's actually a pretty interesting thing to say, okay, just ask yourself, what would this task look like if it were fun? And then it is going to be fun, I assume. I think it is somehow a tactic or some sort of a strategy to make things a little bit more fun, especially those things that are not really fun. Like, for some people, it might be working out. It might be just, as I'm just seeing there, tidying up rooms, which is something, like, I gotta have to tell you. If you would be seeing my fucking room, you would be just leaving the podcast, you would be leaving the fucking YouTube video, and you would do just something else. Or throw up. I don't want of those things. Because I normally don't really tidy up my room. Like, it's messy, and it's just shitty, and it's actually pretty dirty as well. To really be honest. Like, it's I don't know, I'm always kind of not doing it, because I'm focusing so much on the podcast, on school stuff, on the other things that I'm having to do and I'm willing to do. And just tidying up my room is not really something that I'm willing to do. And this is one of the reasons why I'm just not doing it. Of course, my parents aren't really happy about that. They really are not. Really. And yeah, I think I'm going to do that today. I think I'm actually going to do that today. And by the way, also something that Tim Ferriss says is that the first thing that you should be doing when you're waking up is tidying up your bed or making your bed. Because yeah, then it is quite the first thing you did this day, which is amazing, because I don't know, it kind of feels very productive if you just start the day with doing something that is smart and doing something that makes sense and doing something that is great. But yeah, I guess let's move on. With the article. I'm going to read the article. So if you follow productivity guru Tim Ferriss, I wouldn't necessarily say that he's a productivity guru. I would just, well, yeah, he is some sort of, like, it's always a little bit of a messed up thing, I have to say, like all the names that people get called. Like, he's an entrepreneur, and she's a guru, and he's a mogul, and whatnot. But I don't know, have they asked them? It would actually be very interesting how Tim Ferriss would kind of define himself, define his figure, define his maybe position in society, some sort of. So you might be familiar with this mindset-changing question, what would this look like if it were easy? As he explains in his book, Tribes of Mentors, what would this look like if it were easy? Is such a lovely and deceptively leveraged question. It is easy to convince yourself that things need to be hard, that if you're not redlining, you're not trying hard enough. This leads us to look for paths and most resistance, creating unnecessary hardship in the process. But what happens if we if we frame things in terms of elegance instead of strain. Sometimes we find incredible results with ease instead of stress. Sometimes we solve, quote unquote, solve the problem by completely reframing it. And I think it's actually a pretty great thing to say, because I'm clearly seeing myself there. I'm really seeing how I'm living my life, because I'm always tending to just make my life as hard as I possibly can by working out 5 times a week, by taking cold showers every single day and forcing myself to just take them for 90 seconds or something in total. So I'm not gonna go through just 90 seconds completely, like only cold shower. There are some warm periods as well, but it's tough, man. It really is. And I'm either subconsciously and sometimes also consciously trying to make my life really hard for myself. And I kind of feel like that this is cool and I like it. And also kind of sleep deprivation is also part of my life. So it's kind of the classical quote unquote hustle shit, even though I really hate that word. Like the problem is like it's connotated so badly, I would say, and also worse in such a negative way, to be honest. Like hustle, when you're saying hustle, the first thing that I'm thinking about is those people that are having cool cars and that are having cool clothes and a nice girlfriend, a beautiful girlfriend, but they are fucking assholes. This is what I'm thinking about and I'm feeling about, but I do not want to be associated with that, I guess. It's not who I want to be, actually. But yeah, let's actually see. Sorry, the wrong button. I'm Tim Ferriss and this is How I Work. When we kicked off the How I Work series in August, we encouraged readers to tell us whose would actually be interesting. Maybe I am going through this afterwards. So at money.com, Nina Smentsuk, I'm sorry, it is SEMC UK, explains how she incorporated this question into her workflow and added a second question for her own, which is, what would this look like if it were fun? Isn't it the same? What would this look like if it were... I'm very sorry. Tim Ferriss' question was, what would this look like if it were easy? And not if it were fun. I see. So here's how Samsung, turned an oil change and tire rotation into something she actually looked forward to doing. To make my car maintenance errand easy, I picked the most wide open day, even though it was one I usually try to avoid planning chores for, and the day was Saturday. Then to make the errand fun, I considered how I like to spend time. My ideal weekends kicks off early and outdoors. How could I add that to the required chore? The solution was, I found a nearby town with a Mavis service station located near one of my favorite bike paths. Then I called up a friend I hadn't seen in almost a year to make a biking date. Now the tedious to-do had an incentive. I would see an old friend and revisit my beloved rail trail at the same time. Which is amazing, which is actually pretty cool, to be honest. And I really honestly have to say that it is probably not something that you kind of feel like, wow, this is so amazing. It's something so new. I wouldn't have been able to think about that. The problem there is that probably a lot of people wouldn't think about it, even though it is something so quote unquote obvious, since obvious is such a fucked up word, because even though some things are obvious for me, doesn't necessarily mean that they are also obvious for you. But yeah, it is still something that not a lot of people would be thinking about. At least I guess, I don't know, I guess. But yeah, maybe you kind of can do that as well. Maybe you're also having something very tedious to do today and then just somehow combine it with doing something pretty great or something that you should be doing, like meeting an old friend, calling your mother, just doing something like that, doing some of these things that we sometimes forget about, I guess, or we sometimes kind of are too busy for. But let's move on. A lot of us already incorporate some of this mindset into our own lives. Listening to podcasts while we do the dishes, watching a movie while we tackle Mount Laundry, and so on. Which basically is like trying to be productive, trying to be efficient. And sure, some tasks are hard to turn into enjoyable experiences. The only thing I could come up with for getting my passport renewal photos taken is wearing my favorite shirt, which will probably become my least favorite shirt once I see how terrible the passport photos look. Well, and or just because you're seeing your passport photos so fucking often, that you kind of feel like wearing the fucking shirt all the fucking time. Plus, when you're combining events with, say, children, you need to come up with a way to make the task fun for everybody. But I really like the way Samsuk, ask herself what her ideal weekend might look like. Get up early, get outdoors, and then incorporates her car maintenance task around that priority. That might be the real secret here. It isn't as much about what you're doing, what you do during your chores, or I think it's actually chores, isn't it? Because let's be honest, 90% of the time I would be listening to podcasts, or I will be listening to podcasts, as it is about the way you schedule your chores around the life you want to be living. Because you will never get to an end of your task list and say, finally, now I can start spending my weekends outside with the people I care about. So you might as well prioritize that stuff first and schedule the tasks and chores to support those priorities. And in the process, ask yourself if there's any way to make those tasks a little more fun. It's amazing. Like, to really be honest, it's true. It really is true. Like, why would you actually kind of put those things that you really hate around those things that or base the things that you really love and base the things you're just valuing and that are that you're just really passionate about? Why you would be just putting those around those things that you absolutely hate and or basing and or just putting it on a base of I hate everything in my life, which might be working out, which might be like if you're, for example, just because I'm thinking about working out and thinking about working out in terms of something that not a lot of people are really looking forward to and not a lot of people are really into, unfortunately, because working out is something that's incredibly healthy and incredibly great for your body, especially in the long term, but definitely also in the short term. Like, there is definitely upsides in the short term as well. But you might just be listening to one of your favorite audiobooks if you're just a great audiobook reader or actually listener while you're working out. And it might actually be something that works quite fine for you and quite great, and which makes maybe the whole working out part a little bit more enjoyable. Or you might be doing something else, or you might be working out with somebody each time, like with a new friend or with an old friend. Could also be a quite great thing. And or you just go through the shit and do your fucking workout. You could also be doing that, but I understand that. Like, not every workout that I'm having is gonna be amazing and great and I love it and whatnot. I often also feel like, well, this is really not something that I want to do right now. I would like to just be doing something else. But I'm just seeing something funny. This is the reason why I've just paused there. Animal Crossing. The answer is Animal Crossing. One of the guys wrote down into the discussion section, and another one said, when I tried this, the only thing that came to mind was if someone else was doing it. And there are other replies as well. Seriously, guy, Mary Poppins got there first. Oh, good. But let's actually have a look at Tim Ferriss and how he works. I've actually, I think, been listening yesterday. It must have been yesterday to one of his podcasts. Actually, it's been like a Q&A or something. And I like the Q&As, I like the interviews that he's having with all those great and amazing people. But I also just like letting him talk about what he actually knows. And he knows quite a lot, which is amazing, which really is amazing to see and also understand. And he was also talking about but it's from 2012. The thing is, he definitely is not working in the way he was working back in 2012 at this point of time. But there might also be some inspiration here, maybe. Or we just go through some Quora question and Reddit questions, but I don't know. Let's go through some Reddit question. I love the lighting. I look like just pretty good in this lighting, to really be honest. The first question. I'm making progress, but I still feel I missed out on everything and that I can never catch up and or make up for it. I'm about to turn 24 and not looking forward to it because I haven't accomplished anything yet. Good question. Amazing question, just because it's totally fine. Just because it is totally fine. I'm 18 years old and I am working every single day and I'm doing quite a lot. And I'm not saying that to make me feel good and make you feel bad, but some 18-year-olds, they are already having a fucking YouTube channel with millions of subscribers. They are already having an Instagram following of millions of followers. They're already having some Twitter followers and they're already having just a lot of money. I'm not saying that this is kind of the only metrics that you should be looking forward to or you should be looking for. And they might also be having a great life in general. They might just be happier than I am, if this is possible. Nah. But a lot of people have definitely achieved way more up to their 18th birthday as I have. And that's fine, because I am not them and they are not me. And they might be in a completely different way of living, and they might have a completely different life than I'm having. Maybe they have been doing just way more from 15 to 18 than I have, which is probably the case. And this is not something that you should be comparing yourself to. It would be the same exact thing if you would be comparing yourself to Kylie Jenner, somebody that's is grown up or was grown up in a family with great marketers, as I would say, and great personalities and those things. And like, they have put her on a pedestal. And I wouldn't say that it is easy or it was easy for her to just become the first and our youngest billionaire on this planet. But it's not also been just very hard for her, I guess. And this is something to just consider. You shouldn't be comparing yourself to somebody else, but you should be comparing yourself to you and yourself. Like the you from 5 years ago or the you from 10 years ago. Because you probably progressed. And I probably also progressed. I definitely progressed. And we all have. And if you haven't progressed that much, even though you kind of feel like you haven't progressed that much, you probably have. At least a little bit. And if you're unhappy about that, then change something today. Because we can totally change something today. Of course, it would have been better to change something yesterday, but today is fine as well. Like, it's better than yesterday. And no, it's better than tomorrow. Today is better than tomorrow, and yesterday has been better than today. And if you start today and you just start doing something, then it's totally fine. You're just then gonna be better in 5 years or in 10 years, 100%. If you start working today, and if you start doing something today, or if you start learning today, whatever you're starting today, it's gonna just be seen. You can look back in 10 years and be like, well, I started there, and then I did something every single day. Because this is, in my point of view, is something that everybody should be doing. Everybody should be doing something every single day. I believe that it is one of the best ways to learn something. It's just amazing. Doing something every day, you're going to progress so fucking fast. At least in my point of view. At least as how I have recognized and also experienced it. Because, like, posting something every single day, making posts every single day, just making YouTube videos every single day, you're going to progress. You're going to get better. You're going to just be a better video producer. You're going to be a better designer after a year or maybe even a few months. I've also seen it after, a few weeks. You're progressing, because normally you wouldn't be doing something every single day, but you're sure. So start the progress today and start the process today. And it's totally fine that you haven't. It's totally fine that you haven't done it yesterday, but it is amazing that you've seen that you should be doing something today. But let's move on. Let's move on to the next question. And the next question is more or less a statement, I would say, because it is an image. And it is so fucking small that I can't even see it. So this letter is to you. The you that's had a rough week. The you that seems to be under constant storm clouds. The you that feels invisible. The you that doesn't know how much longer you can hold on. The you that has lost faith. The you that always blames yourself for everything that goes wrong to you. You are incredible. You make this world a little bit more beautiful or wonderful. You have so much potential and so many things left to do. You have time. Better things are coming your way, so please hang in there. You can do it. It's amazing. It is really amazing. I'm going to upvote this, and I'm also going to upvote the other one. And something that I've actually forgotten about the last one, you have time. You're fucking 24 years old. And maybe something that is listening to this is also having the exact same problem or is feeling the exact same feelings. But I have to say that you're 24 years old. I might be younger than you, but there are just a lot of people that are older than you and feel the exact same way as you're feeling. And this is more fucked up, but it is still fine. If you're 50 years old, you're just still having 50 years left, basically. And with 24, you're just having 76 left. Yes, quite. Of course, life expectations aren't 100 years and something like that, but it's not really kind of optimistic to say, okay, I'm gonna die when I'm 60 years old. Probably not, unless you kind of really are willing to do so, which is something that I don't think that you're willing to do that. I don't think that this is something that you're looking forward to, just dying with 60, 50. And I think you're probably gonna just take care of your health if you're really willing to achieve something, if you're really willing to just get to something, then of course you're not going to be like, okay, I'm going to drink a beer every single day. Or going to be drunk every single day. Because you know that in the fucking process, or you want to have the process. And in the process, after that, you're just willing to be 90 years old and have achieved whatever you wanted to achieve. And dying without achieving what you wanted to achieve is not feeling pretty cool. My point of view. Sad. I don't really know why I'm writing this, but I'm feeling sad and I don't have anyone to talk to. I'm struggling with anxiety. What I'm thinking is BPD. Depression, social isolation, OCD and more. I've been practicing self-healing since about May of this year, so I truly feel like this is just a part of the process to get through all of my past trauma. I think why I'm getting hit so hard now with this sadness is because I feel really alone. There's no one I have who I can sit down and talk about all of my mental health shit without feeling like I'm boring them to death or annoying them. I'm not going to read the whole one. The sad thing is I can't link it down, The other article that I just went through before, there are a few questions here, I'm going to link it down in the description as always so that you can check it out as well. But I'm really not able to, I am. I'm trying to just link all the shit down in the description that I went through, at least the subreddits. I think I'm going to do that because it's amazing. Even though the thing is, I've been subscribing or I joined some subreddits which just lets them appear on my home feed quite, and can't link my home feed, because it's then yours basically. But I'm trying to just link down the subreddits in the description and also in the show notes if you are on the podcast. But yeah, I do just have to say that we all are sad, and I have always been sad, and I've been talking about it before. And of course, I had my dark periods in life as well. There have been some storms in my life as well, and it always gets better. It always gets better. It just takes some time, maybe a year, maybe 2 years, maybe 5 years. Sometimes it actually takes quite a lot of time, but it's getting better. It really is getting better. And being optimistic, I guess, is one of the best things you can be, even though you lost faith. No, you haven't. There is still some faith. It's gonna get better, because why not? There's no singular reason why it wouldn't just become better or why it wouldn't get better. No reason. Even though you're feeling if you're feeling or saying to yourself, just because you're feeling bad and sad and whatnot at this point in time does mean that you're not gonna feel good in just 5 years. It's complete bullshit. Why? I don't know. Why would this be the case? 5 years from now, it's gonna be a totally different time. It's gonna be a totally different year. It's gonna be totally something different, potentially, theoretically. It could. And I think it's probably going to be the case, And I like the part about self-healing and I think also self-help and also self-development. I really like that. I'm really willing to just point it out because I want more people to think about that and try it out. Because I kind of assume that professional help or getting professional help is totally not something that everybody is able to do, unfortunately. Because it depends on the country you're in and the... if you're getting some money from the government so that you can actually do that, if you kind of know what I mean, just because I do not know the vocabulary there. But yeah, just trying that out beforehand, before you're just getting professional help, since professional help can really be expensive, which is fucked up, which really is. And I would even say that it is probably going to be, I don't know. I kind of feel like that it is even more expensive than just some physical treatments. I don't know. I would have to look it up, but I kind of feel like that. And I don't know why. I can understand why in general therapies are expensive, because there is some, learning behind that, and you have to be good to do that. And of course, you also want to make some money with your knowledge and with what you're able to do. But it's going to be better, and it's going to get better. I kind of know that because I've gone through it myself. So I've not had depression or just I've been just sad in my life, which is something that everybody is feeling. But I knew people that are somehow depressed or were in a really, really, really bad state of mind. And I've also said back then, it's gonna be fine, it's gonna be okay, and it got okay, and it got fine. And nowadays everything is fine, and it is amazing. If I'm just looking back to that, it really is amazing. It's not just amazing just because I've been right. This is not why I'm just happy about it. I'm happy that these people are feeling good right now. because like seeing people being so fucked up and being in such a fucked up mood and such a fucked up position is truly not something that's easy for one. It's truly not something that's nice to see. But it's just amazing to see that these people then are feeling good at this point in time. I really am grateful for that. I really am. Story: how I overcame my stupidity and became a socially aware person. How I achieved success after lifelong failures. I am an Indian female. It's amazing. ADHD. It's actually not such a long one. The reason for my success is I think that I loved academics and music. Despite repeated failures, I never stopped studying or pursuing my practice in music. My child's love has brought me till here. I'm gonna upvote that because it's amazing. No, thanks. Amazing. Really amazing. And I think practicing something every day, doing something every day, and not just feeling like... The thing is, feeling like powerless, this is what I want to say, I guess. But like there have also been days where recording the episode has been really shit. Like today is Sunday. On Friday, for example, it's been really shit. Just because I didn't really feel like it. I didn't really feel like kind of recording, I guess. Like I forced myself, you know. And this is something that I will do from this point of day on. Just maybe more often even. But I don't know. Like, and on these days, like today, it's just amazing that I'm able to sit here, that I'm able to just talk to you, that I'm able to just get out some positive stuff. This is what I'm willing to do. Like, I want you to just have a good time in these 30 minutes that you're listening to the podcast. I don't know, just what I want to have. And probably last one, 2-minute morning habit to make you more mentally tough. So what do you guys think? I just watched a video from Improvement Pill called The Key to Becoming Mentally Tougher. In it, he suggests to do a 2-minute writing prompt each morning. The first thing is, I will let go of, and then you're gonna just finish the sentence. The second thing is, I am grateful for, be specific to your life. And then the third and last one is, I will focus on. If you have other good self-improvement YouTube channels, please let me know. I'm going to give this habit a try. I already list 3 things I'm grateful for every day before I check my phone, which has leveled up things a lot, especially how I view my life. Hope this helps you guys too. I heard a good mantra for morning, so this is in the comments right now. I am free. I do not have to do anything. Today I will XXX. I like that. Been using affirmations lately. Every week I write one on a note card and put it on my mirror. This week's is, I can accomplish anything I set my mind on. I've got a sense of dread beginning to build up in blah, 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 blah. So there's quite a bunch. The amazing part of all these Reddit posts is that there's so many comments. On every single post there is that I'm just seeing right now, there are some, well, okay, there is no comment on this one, but on just 99% of, I would actually say, let's say 90%, because to be sure, 90% of all the posts that you're seeing there are going to have some comments. And it is insane. It is insane how much people are helping other people. It is just so cool. I like that. I love that and I appreciate that so much. But yeah, this is going to be probably the end of the episode. So thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for going through this with me. Thanks a lot for just bearing with me. Maybe not. But really thank you. So if you've liked it, please consider subscribing and please consider going just on the podcast and subscribe there as well. If you aren't on the podcast at this point in time, and also vice versa, you know what I mean. And yeah, thanks a lot. I wish you the best health, happiness, and also success. And I also hope that you're going to remind yourself when you're going to be remembered, which basically means your legacy. You know, which basically means that you're just going to be a good person, and then you're also going to be remembered as a good person, which is something that's totally workable. Or something. I don't know. And the problem there is that we are 7.7 billion people on this planet, which means that not everyone's going to like you. Not everyone's going to love you. It is what it is. Like, nothing to do about that, I guess. 3 other questions that I hope that you're going to ask yourself are, why are you here? What are you trying to change? And what is bothering you the most? Which means, which is hopefully going to show you your purpose in life and maybe even some business ideas, since a lot of companies started out with solving something that really pissed them off beforehand. But yeah, so please consider subscribing to the podcast and please consider just liking the video and rating the podcast and subscribing to the YouTube channel. I would really appreciate that, but thanks again. I hope I've been able to just provide some value here and or some entertainment or something else, I'm hopefully going to see you the next time. So, bye.